And the first thing I challenge you to do on an unmotivated student is to go and look at the CUME records. I challenge you to do a pre-test. I challenge you to look at the achievement scores. The second thing you will find is that, and this happens so much, they won't tell you about it, is that they have very poor isolation and they have very poor peer relationships. Did you know that a child at preschool level, or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, this was a research study done, if they were rejected or isolated early in their life, around 4 and 5 years old, by their peers, not by mom or dad, but by their peers, will likely, at the age of 8, 9, and 10, be a behavior problem in your classroom. Yes. So, it is very important for you to create what is called positive interdependence, a community of learners where nobody is rejected. Everyone is part of the community and everyone belongs. Okay? And that is so important. And lastly, I just put the word 17 trials in here on the slide. I want you to know on this skill deficit and performance deficit that it takes 17 times, 17 trials to learn any skill that's new or novel. Did you know that? 17 times you have to practice it. On the 17th trial, it will stick, but yet we give up very easily on these kids. Especially, I'm talking about hard concepts, difficult ideas. So I want you to think about that number 17. The other question you need to ask yourself, is this a skill deficit? Is this a performance deficit? What is this deficit? And most often a child who has these low motivation levels, will be the skill deficit or a performance deficit. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want you to know about it. And it's going to be the best kept secret. And I'm just going to stay with this information, and I'm going to act up every time you try to get me to do the stuff you want me to do. And I'm not going to do it. I'm going to refuse. I'm going to put my head down like Josh did. And by the way, yes, I did go to Josh's CUME records. I did go to his achievement scores, and what did I see? 2 grade levels below in comprehension. I did see 2 grade levels below in decoding. I did see 2 grade levels below in encoding, which is spelling. So I asked myself, how is he going to survive at the 5th grade level, performing at the 3rd grade level? So we had a lot of work to do with Josh. But as soon as Josh realized that I was aware of that, we started a plan of action. Okay, we'll talk about that. So Josh's inner struggle also was one of these things, and I'm going to talk to you about this. Did you know that when a child or a student is unmotivated and they refuse to do work, there's another place you need to go. You need to go to their self-worth. Their self-worth, which is what I think about myself. And did you know that when they come into your classroom, they are putting on, I call it a battle armor. They're protecting themselves. They're protecting the self-worth every time they come in. And that's all they have. You might have command over their work, but they have self-worth. And every time you attack the self-worth, it's going to come out in disenfranchisement. It's going to come out in not being motivated. It's going to come out in a behavior problem. Also, task avoidance. The classroom environment created by the teacher creates a battlefield. You as a classroom teacher, you could be adding to this by making it an environment that could be perceived hostile to the student. Okay? What you need is not a battlefield. You need the Garden of Eden, where plants are planted and nourished, where everybody's important, and you start to nurture and love your students. If you don't do that, get out of the business of teaching. Emphasizing Josh's efforts. Many students who fail do not try hard enough. Have you heard that one before? Strong relationship between achievement and effort. Okay? Something else we're going to talk about is mistakes. Did you know that it's okay to make a mistake? And you tell students, go ahead, let's make the mistake. Let's make the mistake. Imagine what's the guy's name who invented the light bulb? Thank you, Thomas Edison, yes. Thomas Edison, imagine it took him what, 10,000 tries. If his teacher just said, okay, I'm going to come in after 10 years and grade you to see how far you've gone. Or he had a teacher that said you failed at the beginning and you got a 0. Would we have light today? It took him 10,000 tries. But what I'm saying, folks, is do you grade your students for effort? Or do you just focus on the grade? What about the effort? What about it? We'll talk more about it, okay? Here's something else. I love this word ability. Let's explore this word in a little more detail. Did you know that when you use this word ability, what are you saying? You are saying that you are saying ability is equal to being more able than someone else. In Dakota culture, that probably won't fly. That's where I had some of my experiences. Okay? That we are going to do anything possible to achieve the success. And we become very, very impressed only when a few succeed. That's the model we are using in schools today. There's something not right about that. Absolutely. Our focus here should be on effort, my mastery of the choices I make. Can you see ability as being a bad word? It can be. It can be. Yes, if it's overly emphasized. Here's the mistake paradox. We do this all the time. We told by our teachers, what do they tell us? They tell us time and time again, it's okay to make mistakes because it's how we learn. But we often reward answers. We do not reward the effort to make the mistakes, logical, reasonable mistakes. Okay, let's look at a logical, reasonable mistake on my doc cam, and I'm going to go to it. Yes, there's the problem. And typically what a child will do when they look at this problem, they will go and put the answer 12 plus 4. It's a very logical mistake. Is there logic here? Yes, there is logic, but we have an algorithm error. We got that right, but we forgot about the equation, the plus 3. So if we had to score this, most teachers will go to 0. This will give you 0. But this is how you do what is called motivational scoring. You get 1 point for that, you get another point for that, and you get another point for that. You get a 1 point for understanding that is a 12. You have to know what the number 12 is. You get a point for that. You need to know we are adding plus. That's another point. That's 2 points. Wow, look at me. But I messed up on the 4, but that's okay. It's logical. I know somewhat what the equal sign means. That's 3 points, and guess what I get? 3 out of 6 points. That's called motivational assessment. Oh, ha. And what do? How would a student react to that versus the big fat 0 that we give out, or the red mark, or the line that we put through the paper? So, does that make sense, folks? Do you see that? That's called motivational assessment. You can use rubrics for that. It's just a phenomenal way of doing business in the classroom. We need to separate effort from achievement when grading. And a good way to do that is do it in 2 prongs, a 2-category system. I want you, and I did this with Josh, to create a 2-category system where they are separate. 1 grade for effort and 1 grade for achievement. Wow. See the difference? Grade it. Here's the formula I use. I do a 60-40 split. 60% of my grade will go towards achievement, 40% of it will go towards effort. What we're going to do next is talk about this achievement saga. What students learn. And if you want to really get students to do and motivate them, I like this activity. It's called Get Off Your High Knee to Make a Buck. Sorry about that. Will someone in class check underneath your chair? Go ahead. Stand up if you find something. Oh, stand right up. Yes, you gotta, what did you find, Ken?
Dollar bill.
Yes, you got to get off your hiney to get a buck. And Ken's just earned himself a buck. So basically what I'm saying, folks, is we need to get students to encourage them to have the effort. Get them to move. Get Josh to wake up and feel excited about learning. We need to reward the mistakes. Mistakes are okay. Mistakes must be graded. Write that down somewhere. You should grade mistakes because there's so much to learn from a mistake. It's an opportunity for success down the road. It is also a mistake could be used as an assessment tool. Look at your mistakes. Look at it, become prescriptive, and learn from it. Okay?